Chateau St. Jean is in the heart of Sonoma. We have fruit coming into the winery from all different areas of Sonoma, as well as the estate here in Kenwood. So we really do identify with Sonoma County and really exemplify what the county brings to the best of our wines. The winery was founded in 1973. The new age of winemaking that started in the 70s in this area was just beginning, and we were part of that new frontier. We began the winery making single vineyard wines and pioneered that here in Sonoma County. Chateau St. Jean was founded by a family from the Central Valley of California that had a large table grape operation. And one of the family members was Jean Mirzoyan. She just had her 81st birthday. She's still very fond and very attached to the winery. Winning Wine of the Year from the Wine Spectator for Cinq-Cépages was amazing. It was a very exciting time for us because this was for a red wine. We had done well with our Chardonnays before, but this was a red wine and a Cabernet Sauvignon, so that was exciting. Plus, Sonoma didn't have the acclaim in Cabernet that Napa has had, so it was really exciting for Sonoma County as well.
We are currently overseeing in the Sonoma and Lake County area 1,800 acres of vineyard.
The property is about 200 acres, about 100 acres planted, and almost all exclusively to Bordeaux varietals, so there's a little bit of Viognier here and a little Chardonnay there. Behind me, this is really lovely Cabernet Franc land.
This area is the mountaintop behind Chateau St. Jean Winery, and this is where the Petit Verdot and Malbec for the Cinq-Cépages is grown. The soils here are well drained, rocky, and so we get the quality that we're looking for with these varietals and with the rootstock combinations to give us the quality that'll fit into the Cinq-Cépages program. Right behind me, over my shoulder, you can see the lower part of Chateau St. Jean. The darker canopies are our Merlots, and then you can see a little bit lighter spot down there. That is the Viognier. Down a little bit farther from there, and that's our Chardonnay.
Alexander Valley is typically known for the great Cabernet, but there's a couple of spots like Robert Young Vineyard that are really wonderful for Chardonnay as well, not far from the Russian River. It was one of the first vineyards that we started working with, one of the first single vineyard wines, so we have a long history together of making and growing Chardonnay. Belterre is another vineyard in the Alexander Valley, not so far as the crow flies from Robert Young, but they have very different aspects. Robert Young's in the deeper soils up against the hillsides. Belterre is right on the Russian River, very gravelly soils, and they make different textured Chardonnays. La Petite Étoile is a 44-acre vineyard in the Russian River Valley that we own, and it's half planted to Sauvignon Blanc, half to Pinot Noir. The Sauvignon Blanc is the sole area for our La Petite Étoile Fumé Blanc. It's richly textured Sauvignon Blanc. My favorite varietal probably is Malbec. I just love the different aspects of Malbec. I like its juiciness, its forwardness, its outspoken personality. When Chateau St. Jean began, we made a full profile of wines, but the earliest accolades came from Chardonnay, and we became known as a Chardonnay house, particularly with the advent of our single vineyard wines. In the early 90s, when we started making Cinq-Cépages, we became more known as a red wine house as well. During harvest season, I spend 6 to 8 hours of my day out in the vineyard and then come back in the winery and try to sort out where we are. There is some night machine picking, and there's night and daytime hand harvesting.
We're finding that some of the new technology in the machine harvesters are pretty impressive. And so we're getting some really nice, wonderful whole berries that come into the winery.
And the most important thing is when you get the fruit off the vine.
This is the best part of the morning. You see the sun coming up, and it's the dawn of the new day, and we know that the fruit that we picked today is going to be processed.
There isn't one way to make Chardonnay. For example, with Robert Young Chardonnay, it's a non-malolactic Chardonnay. So the grapes are coming in, they're whole cluster pressed, so we're removing the juice away from the skins right away. We're going to tank, we're yeasting it, we're going right to barrel. After fermentation, we top the barrels, and basically it's just aging on the lees. If it's malolactic fermentation, such as our Belterre vineyard, then we're going to come back and inoculate with malolactic and monitor that, but still aging on the lees. Chardonnay production is pretty straightforward.
What goes into these tanks are our Pinot Noir and our Bordeaux varietals and a little Syrah, and we transfer them whole berries as much as we possibly can and do our red fermentation right here. So at Chateau St. Jean, we do both punch downs and pump overs, drawing out the color, drawing out the phenolics, drawing out some of the tannins, really making that lush wine. So after 14 days of fermentation, we then go along and drain the tank. The skins then settle at the bottom of that tank, and we press out what remaining juice is still adheres to those skins. We press that out a little bit more and collect that separately from the initial free-run batch that we collected earlier. Most of our red wine at that point in time goes to barrel and then matures there.
This is our lower crush pad. This is where we process most of the reds. Well, these barrels are going to the warehouse, temperature controlled. This will age in the barrel for about 18 months.
We're in the barrel room. This is actually exceptionally warm. We're probably between 68 and 70 degrees because what we're trying to do here is finish the wines. So we're putting them through malolactic fermentation. They're just cruising right along in barrels, finishing that process. A barrel is a winemaker's spice rack, essentially. And so each forest, each country gives a little bit of difference. It's just that spice that adds to wine.
Margot, as a winemaker, is a perfectionist with an emphasis on quality. She's been that way ever since I've known her.
Well, I've been here since 1980. I started here as a lab technician, fresh out of school at UC Davis. We're a very close-knit team here at Chateau St. Jean.
We've been working as winemaker and associate winemaker now for 10. This was our 10th harvest. Margot's a wonderful winemaker, of course. I mean, winemaker of the year. But you know, most important though is she's one of my best friends.
I think Bob and I complete each other's thoughts, I really do. We're usually on the same page when it comes to blending.
I've been blessed to be able to work here at Chateau St. Jean for about 25 years now. I'm very lucky to be here that long.
These are real, true pros, and they'll do anything they can to get the right fruit here at the right time for the right wine that we want to make.
Margot Van Staveren was Winemaker of the Year. It shows her dedication to quality and how well she loves Chateau St. Jean.
In describing the wines of Chateau St. Jean, we have to begin with the Sonoma County Chardonnay, Sonoma County Fumé, and our California Appellated red wines. All of these are made to be very accessible, easy drinking wines that still are true to the varietal. Then we go into our Sonoma County reds, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Pinot Noir, sourced from different areas of Sonoma County, capturing those different personalities from the different areas and blending them together to get a wine that truly represents Sonoma, but also has greater complexity than any one region alone may. Single vineyard wines such as Robert Young Chardonnay, Belterre Chardonnay, and La Petite Étoile Fumé Blanc really represent the vineyard that they come from. So they show the unique characteristics of the appellation, be it Alexander Valley or Russian River Valley, as well as the specific site that they're from. And so we make these wines to honor that. Saint-Cepage, being our flagship wine, is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and this is a really wonderful wine to get to make because it's this big puzzle of blending the appellations of Sonoma County as well as the 5 varieties that the name connotes into one single blend that's going to have layers of aromas and flavors, a lot of density, a lot of rich texture, and a lot of ageability. Saint-Cepage does mean 5 varieties, and could anyone pronounce it? No. When it won Wine of the Year, they could pronounce it. Suddenly we all spoke French better. We're really fortunate to be here in Sonoma at this gorgeous estate. I've never taken that for granted, even though I've been here such a long time. I'm always amazed at just looking at the chateau and how beautifully it's nestled into the hillside. It's just a pretty special place to get to work.